G'day guys, Clint here from Neolite. Just running through a quick tutorial today on the SIET iron core transformers or remote transformers. This is a SIET transformer. It's the metal box unit. They're pretty heavy. These are made for powering all sorts of neon. Majority of the SIETs that we use at the moment for this is for outdoor use. We do use them for indoor, and they're perfectly fine to be used for indoor if you're running big neon on walls and things like that, and you want to hide them in the roof and you can't mount it anywhere near the neon that you're loading. These are perfect. Okay, so SIET transformer, or any transformer for that matter, you'll be looking for the loading number, which is this one here, right? So this is the voltage, and that's the amperage. So we're looking at this one's a 10,000 volt with 30 milliamp. Okay, so we refer to these as a 1030. They're sometimes referred to as 1025s, 25 milliamp, because they fluctuate between 25 to 30 milliamp. But that's what you're generally looking at. So it's a 1030. If it was 15,000, it'd be referred to as a 1530, 12,000, 1230, but this is a 30 milliamp. These also come in 60 milliamp as well for additional power if it's required, but most of the neon benders will specify that. So if you're going out to site and you've got to check which train it is, this is the number that you're looking for. This one here, nothing down here or any of these. We're looking for this main number here. Okay, so I've also got here today with us the Conex unit, which is the easy mounting bracket for these SIET transformers. Now this bracket only works on the 10, 12 and 15 SIETs, 15,000 SIETs. It's an easy application for generally for outdoor use, or if you're mounting it on a wall or something like that, but I'll go through that in a second. The next thing that I often get asked about is the safety. So this is what we call a dual safety. So it's an open circuit monitor and an earth leakage protection device. So it has two. You can also just get an open circuit monitor, and there's a whole range of different ones that we stock here at Neolite. There's plug-in ones and underlid ones and a full range, but these are the most popular ones that we often get asked how to install. These are great because they're a compact unit. They fit straight under the lid, which I'll show you how to install. Yeah, so these are great. We've got these in stock, and we carry all of this in stock. So if you need anything at any time, give us a call. So what we're going to do is we're going to undo the lid first. So this is essentially an unopened SIET, and I'm going to show you how to wire up the neon, mount it to the Conex base, and just some tips and tricks with it today. But basically, we're going to open up the lid first. So one of the safety features of the SIET is the bipolar blade, which activates inside here. Once the lid is closed, it'll activate the transformer. While the lid is off, the transformer won't work. So the big thing with signies is when they go out and install these, there's a little lip at the back of the transformer lid that has to hook over the back of the SIET before you close it. If you don't hook it into the rear and it's sitting up high, those blades inside won't engage and your transformer won't work. So that's just something to be mindful of when you're doing it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out the protective cover here for the blade unit. Okay, so I'll just undo this and we'll just pop that out. Okay, so you can see the blades here. Okay, our power cable for live, neutral and earth is here. Our inputs or our output essentially for our HT cable is here and here, then your OCM will sit up the back of the unit just up here. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is, if you're putting in an OCM EPL, you'll need to take this blade out of the back of the SIET here, so that you can fit the unit. This screw at the back here becomes redundant, so you won't need that anymore, so you can get rid of that once you take this blade out. Now this is only if you're installing an OCM EPL. If you if you take this blade out and you don't install a unit in here, the transformer won't work. So this is another feature that runs power into the mains from here. So what we'll do, so that's just something to be mindful of. When we're installing the OCM EPL, you can see it's got 3 screws here, just on the top of the circuit board here. You don't want to over tighten those, so don't do what some of the guys do and use an impact driver on high, because you'll just break the circuit board and it won't work. So the first thing you need to do, I suggest you slip it under those 2 screws here, the little blades, and then you'll tighten up these 3 screws. Now you don't need to over tighten them. Just need to make sure that they're nice and secure and it's not going anywhere. So we'll do those. Now we'll tighten up the back units here to make sure that the blade fits. Sometimes they're done up quite tight, so you might need to undo them before you fit the blade in, but you'll see when you open up your transformer. Right, that's it, it's fitted, that's ready to go. Okay, so what I'll do next up is I'll show you how to install the power, but what we'll do first is we'll actually mount it onto the Conex unit, so we can see how that all goes together. Just another quick thing, the blade that I removed from the connection over in this unit, I suggest you tuck it just up under the earth cable here and tighten that screw up when you're doing your earth. In case you ever need to take this out and test, these may blow if something happens to the neon, and if you want to make sure, because it's much cheaper to replace one of these than it is to replace one of these, just make sure that that's in, hook that back in before you test it and make sure your neon's working, and then you can check whether it's the transformer gone or the OCM EPL. Right, okay, so mounting this to the Conex unit. Okay, so this is a Conex unit. Okay, it's made for mounting the transformers. Essentially, you want to mount it outside against a wall like this, so that the cabling is all coming down. So it's got allowances in it for all of your screws and your fittings, and it fits to the transformer. Absolutely, I'll just slide this back here so we can see it. So it fits perfectly onto the base. So if I come around here on the side, you can see that that unit will slot in the little screw at the top there, and then there's one down the bottom here for the other unit. Right, there's a little, if you can see just inside the unit there, there's a little catch for that, for the base of the unit, so we can slide that over. I'll just undo this screw slightly. Okay, so we can fit the unit in. Okay, so we're going to slide that in there and that in there. Right, so our transformer is now locked onto the Conex unit. Okay, so I haven't done up all the screws and I won't bother doing it for this, but basically I'm now mounted onto the Conex unit. Okay, you'll mount the Conex unit to the wall, then mount your transformer to the Conex. Okay, so the advantage of that is that when I go to wire this up, I can have all of my grommets and my conduit ready to go. So I've got my 16mm conduit with a reducer plug, and I'll put that in there. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my screw end, my nut, and I'll screw this unit into the base here. Right, so this stops you from having, you know, cables running wild and, you know, trying to conduit and cable tie stuff together. It just makes it really nice and neat. Okay, so I've got my conduit one section in, and you do this for all 3. So you do this for your power cable, but you'd also do it for both of your HT. A big problem that guys that we often get repair call outs on is when people join or cable tie the HT cable to one another, when the HT cable can't go near anything metal, right? So it's not like normal power wire where you can just hook it up to whatever and put a saddle clip on it and hope for the best, or strap it or cable tie it to itself. It doesn't work like that. That's not safe and it doesn't meet code. So every time you're powering up your Neon, you need to have this stuff shielded, okay? And it can't pass through metal without bushing. It's really, really imperative that you, with your HT cable, that it is always shielded, especially from its partner in crime here. You don't want these guys touching, so don't get both your HT cables, and we see this all the time, where it'll come out of the transformer and there's cable ties all the way down the job. That's not allowed. You'll cause yourself a serious issue with cabling. So what I'll do is I'm going to show you how to wire up the transformer. I'm just doing 2 conduits on this. I won't bother conduiting the power cable, but I would do that as well. And there's a space for it, so you can do all 3. So I feed my HT cable into my base unit, into my conduit here. Actually, I might feed it the other way. It might make it a little easier for me, just while I'm doing this sample. So we'll feed our HT cable through, so it's separated. Okay, and then we can just feed that up and into our base unit here. Okay, so we're making sure that the HT cables do not touch. I'm wiring my HT cable in over on. My HT cable goes here, my other HT cable goes there, my 2 outputs, and then my power will go in the middle here. So I've got my cable out and I'm tightening that screw down. Okay, so pull that through. Okay, there's some grooves here that allow for you to put that HT cable into that unit. It's a bit rocky because I haven't tightened it up on the Conex Base. I just wanted to show you how the Conex Base works. They're a great unit. Not many people use them. They do work amazingly well, and they're really simple for install. So I can't rave about them enough. We use them all the time for majority of the installs that we do, where applicable. So, okay, so here we go. So my HT cable is now mounted and it's conduited. So those 2 HT cables will now go left and right into my sign. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mount up the power cable. So this would be conduited as well, but because it's got a plug on it and all of that, I think you'll all get the idea. So again, my power cable will run up through the bottom here. Right, it'll be conduited in here. Now, my earth will go down on the base plate here, okay? So I'll undo that screw and I'll mount my earth down the bottom. Right. Make sure it's nice and secure. I'll just straighten up that plate a little bit. Right. So my earth is secured. Okay. My live goes on the left hand side. There is a huge big L marked on the left there. So you should not be able to miss that at all. So we'll secure the live in, and then our neutral. Right, so I've got my plug in. Now there's 2 spots there. So you can hook these SIETs in unison, so you can have power going out to the left hand side, on the right hand side to your next unit, or left hand side, vice versa. But yeah, so live in there, neutral in there, earth in there, your HT cable, one here and one there. Okay, we're making sure that it's isolated. Okay, our HT cable is not touching. It's not sitting on any metal framework without going through a bushing or a grommet. Okay, to insulate it. I'm going to put in my protective cover now for my blades. Now, you need to make sure that this thing's lined up. If it's not lined up, you'll get another foul where those blades will come down. If I've got this pushed too far back, the blades on my thing will not close. So you slide it forward. It's got a nice little stop there. We're going to hook up the back at an angle, and I'm going to drop it down. Okay, I'm just going to close my lid. There's just enough room to close the lid. You can see it's all nice and tight. We'll do up the lid. And there you go. That's how to wire up a SIET transformer.